Is it worth it? The choices I made, are they worth it? I look at the path I chose. Were there alternate roads? Many, but this is where I'm at. So I smile big with my backwards hat. Now it's time to decide, was it worth it? Damn, was it worth it? The lane I've taken, the minds I've encountered, the beauty I've seen in a world full of tribulation, the grass is still green. While I wait for the next step, I avoid falling in line. Find my own path, not one of design. Makes things more complicated. So when I ask myself, was it worth it? I couldn't even imagine better. What it seems, I'll stand tall for my goals and dreams. When hard times come, there will be many. I'll just proceed with constructive deeds. Stay above the banter. To say this was worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it. Life is beautiful, so choose the right path. Set some goals to surpass the strife. Are you worth it? Please believe so. Search for happiness wherever you go. Love is around, easily found. Having trouble with your find? Here, have some of mine. It's a long day, just set some goals.
Good evening. Fearlessly Authentic presents Drizzle's Tank. What do you know? You're not alone. Epilepsy is a terrible silent disease. Many of us have it. You are not alone. Tell me your story. Tell us all. Enjoy some conversations, some tunes, and some optimism. I am not a doctor, a nurse, a psychologist, a therapist. I probably cannot take your blood pressure properly. Why? Because I am not trained to. In order to come speak, you must, off screen, provide me with a real name and phone number. Your number will be verified via text. And trust, I'm not trying to save your number for after the fact. I got enough problems. I don't need yours every day too. There must be someone standing there so I can see at least a hand. They have to say something to assure me you are not without help, just in case something happens. If you are alone, I do not want to exclude you. I must be provided with your address. It can be a video of you holding your mail and your ID, something confirming, it could be a brief video before the show starts. If there is an emergency, there is a delay. I will stop the feed and more than likely call an ambulance to avoid traumatizing others. If you try to commit suicide on my channel, I will end the feed before anyone is the wiser. Pretend you started having a seizure and move right the hell on while we call 911 near you and be on our undeserved of that way. So please, don't waste your time or your life. You're worth more than that. So, online groups are nice, but I'm here to lend an ear. I go through crap all the time. Nice having somebody. Not everybody does. And not everybody has somebody that will understand. So, join me. Good evening. I am Drizzle. And tonight I am here to talk about epilepsy. Very, very common. I don't think most people realize how common. I don't think I realized how common it was, honestly. I've been dealing with it for, about 15 years now. Probably longer, but that's when I learned of it. I was an adult. I had left for college. I was living on my own at the time. Luckily, the woman who I am still with today happened to start staying with me at that time. And she was able to see me have a seizure in the middle of the night. Turned out I was having my seizures at nighttime, mostly during REM sleep. I would fall deep asleep, wake up, assume I had a hangover, something. I was a college kid. I drank a lot, so I didn't really assume properly, I guess. And so when my wife saw the first one, that was very eye-opening. I was thousands of miles away from anybody that I knew besides her and a couple friends. I had, no reason to believe that I would ever have another one at the time. Didn't understand that I had had them before. And so I went on quite a few years. I mean, they took my driver's license at the time. They did make it easier for me to get a medical marijuana license in the state of California, but that didn't follow once I left there anyway, so not that big of a deal. The originally they had tried to put me on Dilantin, but after a few tests, they realized that they didn't think that I actually had epilepsy. They thought that something had happened, might have been drinking related. Who knows? Just because I had never had one before to my knowledge, and didn't assume that I was going to have any more after that. And it turned out it was about almost 5 years before it happened again. We had moved to Massachusetts. I had finished college. I had finished my 4 years. We moved to just outside of Boston, a town called Malden. It was right on like the Everett-Malden border. Not the nicest of neighborhoods. Yeah. But we did what we could at the time. I had a seizure while I was up there. We were confused. I guess maybe it wasn't quite 5 years, but we were confused. We didn't know, oh, wait, that happened again? Like, was it drinking again? Was it just something to do with drinking? Like, well, let's see. Well, what's the problem? So nobody out in California, out at USC could figure anything out. So, you know, maybe Leahy has a chance. So I spent the next probably year and a half going to different clinics, going out to different clinics at the Leahy clinics, and basically got the same results. Couldn't find anything wrong. Wanted to prescribe me medicines. Wasn't a big fan of the medicines. They never seemed to really work, and I seem to have most of the side effects that come with all of them. And so I spent, you know, it was probably a year and a half before I had another seizure. Only this time we had moved back to Pennsylvania, close to where my hometown was. We were in pretty rough shape, kind of living in camps and people's couches and kind of just surfing around doing what we could. I mean, bathing in streams and eating whatever we could get. It was interesting. So it was pretty bad timing to have a seizure at that point. I had started a business. I've been doing lawn care and working on stuff and fixing stuff since I was a little kid. So even though I had graduated college with a business degree and was sure that I was going to be a suit and tie guy, I got done with school and I said, what am I good at? Well, I'm good at building stuff and fixing things and making things. So, well, what would a businessman who knows how to make things do? Well, I opened a business that I made things and fixed things. So for the last 12 years, I've owned a company. I do everything from pull your weeds to rebuild your commercial buildings. I mean, I do basically everything. I plumb, I build, I do concrete, I do roofing, tile. I try not to limit myself. I've lived all over the country. I've lived in high weather places where, you know, you can't really do lawn care all year round when you live in Pennsylvania, when when you live in Vermont, when you know, that stuff isn't really an option. So I had to find other tasks. So I did things like snowplow driving, um, tree trimming, oil field. When I bailed out, I ran lines. I mean, I did all kinds of stuff. Basically, just serviced wells is what it came down to. Did that in the winter times. I mean, if somebody was willing to pay me, I was willing to show up. And I've always had good work ethic. I started making money the first time when I was, you know, 11, 12 years old. You know, that was the first time I considered what it would mean to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't even know what it meant at that time. I digress. So we end up in a house. We end up in a house. We bought a house that was, it was a wreck. It was a wreck. But we fixed it up. It took us 4 years, and we worked and went to school and just did what we had to make the situation work. And when we got to at one point, we were finally, I was going and I was seeing neurologists in Erie. They weren't able to confirm anything, so they started sending me to Pittsburgh. So now by this point, I had seen doctors at the Long Beach hospitals, USC, UCLA, Leahy, hamlet of Erie, and now I was heading to UPMC. I still had not learned anything. They couldn't tell me why I had seizures. The medicines never really seemed to work. I would take them for long periods of time. I know one of them that did kind of work for a while was called Lamortigen. I took it for a long time. Eventually, it stopped working. I just continued to have seizures through the medicine. It wasn't stopping, and so we were scared because by this point we now had a kid. We had my first son. He luckily is a healthy kid. He's way taller than I ever was. He's handsome, smart, polite when he wants to be. He's a good kid. And at the time, I was depressed. I mean, realistically, I was depressed. And I was drinking. I don't even like to drink. It was so easy to finally quit drinking because I hate drinking so much. But I drank. And I mean, I didn't drink a little. I would drink a bottle of scotch a day. It's a real asshole. No way to sugarcoat it. I mean, be realistic. I wasn't going well. I was making bad choices, having run-ins with police. I was 25 years old. There was no excuse for it at this point. I wanted change, but I knew change was going to require fixing my health as well. But up to that point, I had kind of just pretended my health wasn't real. I pretended that no matter what happened when I woke up in the morning, that I was just going to make it. Everything was going to be fine. I was going to push on through and good enough, life would go on. It didn't. Things just kept getting worse. The medicines weren't working anymore. The drinking wasn't doing anything. We said, what do we do? And the doctors at UPMC said, to be honest, I don't think you're going to get the care you need here. You need to set out to find what's the right treatment for you. I don't think that's here. And they suggested Duke of Durham. I said, they're the best. I said, check them out. So we did. In fact, we moved. We picked up that house. We had bought that house. We started our family in, started my business. We sold that house and we moved to North Carolina. We didn't even think about looking back. We were so used to it at this point. We were so used to it, getting up and leaving. I had done it forever. My wife, she's only been doing it since she met me, really. But yeah, I've always felt like I was running from things. And when I got down here, I was still running. And I said, what am I running from? I said, I'm running from this health, from this bad health. What's the solution? What do I do? So I looked at, I was having seizures, even though I was taking hospital doses of Lamortigen. They wanted me to take 800 milligrams 3 times a day. I was like, I'm not taking that much one time a day. So I'm going to wean myself off over the next 2 weeks. This was 5.5, 6 years ago, probably. I told the doctor, I said, I'm done. I'm done with the medicine. I'm done with the medicine. I'm done with the treatments that are just run of the mill, cut and dry. Here, this is what we do for everybody. I said, unless you're going to help me come up with a solution for my problem and you figure out what my problem actually is, I'm done with this. I said, I'll just, give me some emergency meds for if I can't stop having seizures, and I'm done. So over the next 2 weeks, I did what the worst possible thing you can ever do as an epileptic is stop taking your meds. Because there's so much that can go wrong. I mean, it doesn't take long for your body to be like, hey, I don't have that thing that I'm now used to. Put that back. And the worst part is it makes you feel like dog shit. Like I've just take it. I know after taking some of those meds, I felt worse, far worse. I mean, I would take those meds and then look at myself and just feel wrong. Like, this isn't me. This isn't what I feel like. This is how somebody else feels like. And they're telling me I'm supposed to feel this way too. And I don't want to feel this way. So I did. I stopped taking the meds. I looked into other things. I was told about the ketogenic diet. I started eating a diet, basically meat and vegetables. I tried to keep my carbohydrate intake to anywhere from 20 to 50 grams of carbohydrates per day. Taking good, healthy fats that, so I basically took like pork and stuff out of my diet and took out all the, basically, I took out anything that said processed mechanically. Metal, some inert, just those trigger words, those words that as soon as I see them, I'm like, bang! That's the stuff. That's the stuff messing me up. I know it is. I know it is. So I stopped taking those meds and I stopped eating trash and I started eating healthy. As far as I could say is healthy. I mean, to each their own. Everybody has their own diet. Everybody can choose their own diet. I'm not a dietitian. I should never tell anybody how they should diet. It's not my place. You eat whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. Not my problem. Do I recommend a nice ketogenic diet? Heck yeah. I'm down 100 pounds. I have seizures far, far less. Recently, not so lucky. I've had a pretty rough time lately. But it was 3 years before I had another seizure. It was 3 fucking... Jesus Christ. Shut up. It was 3 years before I had another seizure. I ate clean. I lived healthy. I took care of myself. I remembered what it was like to wake up hungover and just look at myself and say, who the fuck is this guy? This is not the guy you planned. This isn't who you want to be. You're better than this. I just pushed. And it got to a point where I felt so confident. I thought I was invincible. We moved into a new place. I went back to work. Started driving cars again. I drive big trucks. I mean, I've got 3 diesel trucks. That's what I like to drive. I've got fast cars. So I'm a menace to the road. But I don't drive right now. I haven't for a while. It's depressing. That's one of the biggest ones, not being able to get myself places. I skateboard. Life Skateboards out of Indiana. They are a great company ran by great people and create a quality product. I cherish these guys. They're good people. I skateboard typically sometimes 4 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week typically. Until I started having seizures again frequently. I was working at a skate park 2 days a week. It was great. It reminded me of my old days, just being who I am. It's one thing to go through life working towards goals that I know are attainable. It's another to work towards goals that I actually enjoy and that I actually love. And so recently, when we got down here, we started going to the local hospitals. I started having a seizure one day, oddly, out of nowhere. I wasn't on meds anymore. I wasn't taking anything. I wasn't, occasionally I was eating kind of crabby, maybe go out and have a little ice cream or something. So it's not like I'm a perfect angel. I do my best. So far, that's been pretty good. Some days better than others. I can say yesterday I ate enough at lunchtime for 4 or 5 people, but you put a buffet in front of me, and I'm pretty broke at these times, so I'm happy to eat as much food as you'll put in front of my face. I started with the Wilmington Health. I moved over to the New Hanover. That went real poorly. They sent me back basically. I did an in-hospital study or something. I was in the hospital. They didn't follow my diet plan, and they kept trying to make me eat just trash food all day. And I kept calling the doctor, and I kept saying, guys, I can't eat this food. He said, well, you'll just have to call and order out for food. I said, guys, I'm on welfare. I'm on Medicaid. I don't even have money. Where do you think I'm going to come up with $25 3 times a day to feed myself? Like, that's not realistic. That's not plausible. So I continued. I guess fighting all day. It was almost time for their kitchen to close up. It was almost time for the doctor's office to close up. And they just kept telling me he can't see people that aren't in the clinic. I said, guys, I got the wristband on. I'm in the clinic. I am the clinic patient. He's supposed to come and see me, but I know he's nervous to come and see me because I know he's nervous to come and see me. Most of the doctors are. I'm kind of an ass. And, not really so much an ass as I'm logical. I don't hold back. If I have something that makes sense to the scenario, I'm not going to wait. Decide that you're ready to hear what I have to say. I'm going to tell you what I think. A lot of people don't like me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because the people that matter like me, and so I carry on. That day, I walked over to the doctor's office. I pulled the IV out of my arm. I walked over to the doctor's office. Doctor wouldn't come out and see me. I screamed. I said, "You guys, I either sit in here and have a screaming fit like a teenager until my doctor comes out and sees me, or I leave here in handcuffs. Somebody makes the choice right now." And I just kept screaming. And they're like, hold on, just stop. Okay, we'll get somebody. And they pushed me to the front. I said, I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. So I'm looking at this clock right here. You're looking at the same clock as me. So you got 5 minutes to find me a doctor to come and talk to me right now. Within a couple minutes, one of the administrative staff came out of the back. I saw him go up and start talking to him. He goes, well, what is going on? I walked right around. I said, let me tell you. So I went forth to tell him what was going on. And I said, I'm supposed to be trying to figure out whether I need brain surgery. You assholes won't even help me to get the food that I'm supposed to eat. How am I supposed to trust you with my brain? This is a joke. I said, my doctor won't even answer the phone all day long when I tell him I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. And they just keep telling me to order food. No, that wasn't going to be. So they finally, after 6 years of living in North Carolina, we finally got referred to Duke. We started going to Duke back, March, I think it was, something like that, March or April. We worked hard to get there. Took a lot of work. Took a lot of me being the person that people don't like. And I'm okay with that. Because at this point in my life, I have too much to live for. I wasn't going to let it slide. We finally get to Duke. They finally set it up. We go out. We meet my doctor. He's number 3 in the world. Finally, we get to this guy. Finally. Am I going to get a vagus nerve stimulator? Am I going to get a responsive nerve stimulator? Is there actually something wrong with my brain and they actually need to do a lobectomy or something? Who knows? But the people that you trust to do brain surgery are now talking to me about brain surgery. I get there. We talk. They order an ambulatory test, a 1-week order. I sit in the hospital at Duke. I was supposed to be there for a week. Turns out people like me are not the standard. We're not who usually show up to the invalid ward. I'm usually the guy showing up to ER. And based on the way I look, typically I'm the guy showing up for drugs. So usually when I show up, they're assholes to my wife. They treat me like I'm a criminal. talk to me like I'm a criminal. Make my kids, they won't even let my kids come up in the hospitals with me right now because of COVID. As if anybody's even sick. We pushed. We finally get to Duke. We get out there. I go in for a 1-week study. Turns out I'm not very good at sitting still for a week. Can you believe that? The guy who works out for 4 to 8 hours a day, whether he's working or working out. I couldn't sit still. I sat in that bed and said, guys, this is not a bed. This is not a bed. And I tell you what, when I left that place, after 3.5 days, when they made me leave, because I wasn't meeting the protocols, doing push-ups on the floor, push-ups and sit-ups, not okay. I was up walking around, not okay. They want you to sit still. I don't have seizures when I'm sitting still. I have seizures when I'm sleeping. I only sleep. I'm an insomniac. I only sleep when I've worked out. When I've worn myself out, gone, done, toast. It's hard. I'll go out and I will skateboard for 8 hours. I will come home and watch my family fall asleep at 10:30 at the latest. And then I sit there till 3 with my eyes shut sometimes for hours, hoping to sleep. But I don't. I don't sleep. It's tough. It's tough. So not only am I not sleeping, I got 5.5 hours and 70 some hours of, I got 5.5 hours of sleep. I was miserable. They said they were making me leave. I was like, no, I'm leaving. This is insane. So they set me up for a home ambulatory test. 1 month later, that was in August. I sat in my house, and it was almost like stress is really one of the big factors for a lot of people. Like, if you live your life under stress, it's hard to not have seizures. It's hard. Because seizures are just your neurons going nuts, sending shitty signals to your brain. So if you're stressed out and everything feels like that, you're just fighting them off the whole time. When they finally got me into that home ambulatory test, I was like, finally. Again, just like when I met that doctor. Finally. I can breathe. I didn't have any episodes the entire fucking time. I had 2. I had a bitemporal sharp during the first one in Duke. While I slept one time, I had bitemporal sharps. They're nothing. They don't determine whether I need brain surgery. We know I need it, but we don't know which one I need because we can't seem to capture what it is they need to see to make that determination, to determine whether or not, whether I need a vagus nerve stimulator, which just kind of shuts it all down repetitively all day long, just kind of sends a thing and shuts down the wave. Or if I needed what's called a responsive nerve stimulator, which sounds like is the one that I'm going to need if they can ever figure out how to get this stuff figured out. Responsive nerve stimulator is, a lot of people have heard of like the Neuralink. It's kind of like that idea. It's an EEG basically where they cut like a flap of your head back, like stick something in like a 50-cent piece size or silver dollar size thing in your head. It cuts flush. They shave it in flush with your skull, and they flap your skin back over. And it has a battery that's good for like, I think they said like 6 to 8 years or something like that. So it's not foolproof, but they're pretty foolproof. Once they test that battery, they said it's like 7 years is almost always gets 7 years. Like, okay.
98% effective.
Yeah, 98% effective on top of that. So essentially what this does is it reads your brain in time, like while things are happening. So when you first start using it, you have seizures, and it recognizes those seizures, and it says, oh, so when this is happening, it sends this signal and you have a seizure. Well, now we're going to respond properly. So the next time that happens, it goes, oh, nope, bang.
That's from the Epilepsy Foundation.
So why trust me? I'm a guy. I'm just a guy. Let me read you what the Epilepsy Foundation says about the brain responsive neurostimulation with the RNS system, the NeuroPace. At least 30% of people do not respond to seizure medicines. Some people can have surgery to remove where seizures start in their brain. This treatment is the only way to cure epilepsy, but it doesn't work in everyone. On average, only about 60% of people can be free of disabling seizures from removal of a seizure focus in the temporal lobe. VNS therapy, or dietary therapies, VNS being the vagus nerve stimulation therapy, or a dietary therapy such as the ketogenic diet, may help many people. Another option is the responsive neurostimulation, known as RNS therapy. This new seizure treatment was approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 2013. Everyone's seizures are a bit different, either in type, number, or pattern. Therefore, an ideal way to treat seizures is personalizing the treatment to each person. The ability to give the treatment only when it's needed. At the time of a seizure or suspected seizure activity in the brain. It is a key feature of the RNS system. The RNS is designed to work in 3 key ways. 1, monitor. It monitors brain waves at the seizure focus all the time. During sleep, all the time. Detects. It detects unusual electrical activity that can lead to a seizure. And lastly, it responds. It responds quickly, within milliseconds, to seizure activity by giving small bursts or pulses of stimulation. This goal is to help brain waves return to normal, even before it could turn into a seizure. The RNS system is a smart device that is adjustable and reversible. Where it is placed and how it is tailored to each person, it learns what is going on in a person's brain. And its settings can be adjusted for each person. Most comprehensive epilepsy centers that provide epilepsy surgery can also offer the RNS system. Before having the RNS placed, a person must go through a detailed testing to see where their seizures arise in the brain. What I've been doing, the RNS system is similar to a heart pacemaker. It can monitor brain waves, then respond to activity that is different from unusual from usual or that looks like a seizure. A device or stimulator is placed in the bone covering the brain. Tiny wires or leads are placed in one or two bones on top of the brain, where seizure activity may begin. These wires connect to the stimulator. Once the wires and device are placed, nothing can be seen. The system can give small pulses or bursts of stimulation to the brain when anything unusual is detected. This can stop seizure activity before the actual seizure begins, or it could stop seizure activity from spreading from a small focal seizure to a generalized seizure, which is, I have focal seizures every day, just about. Apparently, I was unaware. Simple and complex partial seizures. I didn't know what they were. I thought they were just head rushes. I've had them my whole life. Thought I was just getting a head rush. So, the system can give small pulses or bursts of stimulation to the brain. Okay, let's see. People cannot feel the stimulation once it's programmed. It doesn't cause pain or any unusual feelings. It's not permanent. It can be turned off or removed if it doesn't work or a person doesn't wish to use it any longer. Who can use the RNS system? The system has been approved by the FDA to treat focal or partial seizures in adults 18 years or older. It's used in addition to seizure medications. This is called injunctive or add-on treatment. It's designed for people with refractory seizures. This means that a person continues to have seizures despite at least trials with 2 seizure medicines. I've tried 9. It's used in people who cannot have epilepsy surgery to remove where the seizure starts, or resective surgery has not worked. How does the RNS system work? Well, device like the RNS system changes or modulates brain activity to stop or prevent seizures. The exact way to the RNS system works is not known. It is thought. Allow me to reread this for my own benefit. The exact way that the RNS system works is not known. It is thought to act on a certain substance in the brain called an inhibitory neurotransmitter. This type of substance acts to inhibit or stop activity from brain cells that could lead to seizures. This may explain how the RNS works in the short term, yet its long-term effect may be caused by something else affecting how brain cells work more broadly. How helpful is RNS? Real-world retrospective study. So this is an actual study. This is not some blah blah I'm coming up with. This is straight from the Epilepsy Foundation, and I'll be happy to send this link. Go ahead and pull that link up and post it into the thing. Just pull up my YouTube and post it in there. I think you should be able to. If not, pull up your do something. So the real world retrospective study. 130 patients with RNS systems were followed for an average of 2.3 years. The average decrease in seizures was 67% after 1 year, 75% at 2 years, and up to 82% after 3 or more years. Whoop. So far, about 3 out of 4 people with the RNS system, 77%, had their seizures cut in half after 2 years of using it. Some people had extended times of being seizure-free as well. In the open label study or long-term study, 1 out of 3 people reported periods of no seizures for 6 months in a row, which I used to not think was such a big deal. But I have seizures all the freaking time. And I would love to be able to just guarantee 6 months. That'd be great. If I could guarantee a seizure just every 6 months, that'd be great. But they're talking about people that have seizures constantly. Somebody like me who has some sort of quality of life, it can put somebody like me, stop me from having seizures 88%. I can't even imagine anything better. I can't even imagine anything better. It doesn't seem like much. But through all the crap that we've dealt with over the last few years, every win is needed. Every win. I don't know if you guys know anybody with epilepsy that deals with it on a regular basis, that has a family member that deals with it on a regular basis, that has a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, anybody. It's hard to explain what people go through. As an epileptic who pretended that it wasn't really happening for many years, I avoided the groups, the support groups. I hid from them. I was like, I'm not epileptic. I don't need these groups. I don't need these groups. That's for those really bad people. Those people that have seizures all the time. I was wrong. In the last year or so, I found my way into a few different groups. Some of them are specific. They're specific to types of epilepsy, generalized, simple, temporal lobe, refractal groups, refractal being just people that can take as much medicine as you want to give them. It's not going to help. It's rough. And it's rough on everybody around. It's not just rough on the person with the seizures, because sometimes, let's be honest, some of these people are so invalid they didn't realize they're alive, and it's a sad existence that somebody has to watch over them for their entire life as they shake around and crap all over themselves. Awesome life. Every time I'm in the hospital and I see those people wearing the helmets and in the wheelchairs and, can't move without somebody, I go, buddy, you need to suck it up. Whatever it takes, no matter how bad things get, you are not that bad. You need to step up and help yourself in any way you can. There's no reason to sit back and wait for answers. Because it gets to a point where no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to work. And I say this generally because it's not like I'm the only one I hear saying this. The quality of life results. Benefits of any therapy must also look at how a person feels and their quality of life. A study of 191 people with the RNS system found improvements in the quality of life aside from seizure control. These benefits did not appear due to changes in seizures or medicines. These included physical health, cognitive function, for example, thinking, remembering, concentrating. That would be nice. Emotional health or mood. That would be nice for everybody around me. Less worry about seizures. Definitely could use that. And overall quality of life. Sure could use some of that right now.
People talking to you in the chat if you want to.
Just talk to me. Talk to him for me for now.
Wow, you're doing a great job. I just wanted to come in and say, like, you're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
And I had a question for you. Did you have health care during all this whole entire process? Like when you were going through everything?
We have been so close to the bottom for so long that we're professionals at staying at the bottom, I think. Because we were on Medicaid. Like I said, for a while there, we were homeless. I mean, we literally lived in the woods. Like we lived in the woods. And we ate whatever people gave us. I did whatever work people would let me do. It's yeah, I'm sure I'll use those. The yeah. Sorry.
We can take a break if you want. If you want me to play the music that we played before.
Well, how about this? Let me send you over a link. Let me yeah, this looks like a good music break spot. So let's see here. My stuff. So today we wrote a song that would be way too long. So I'm going to past that one. Well, it was fun. My youngest, he's been, you know, when it comes down to it, this doesn't just affect me. It doesn't just affect my wife. It affects my kids, and you know,
everyone.
They see me, you know, just like I saw my dad as Superman.
Of course. But you still are. You're overcoming even more as you are. You know what I mean? Like you're an inspiration, Drew. You're an inspiration because you
I
don't give
want
up.
them to see the hard work. I want them to see the strive to make it past things. To the fact that I tend to just overlook the troubles of the world. I tend to just get through shit. I tend to just I put on life's waders, pull them right up over my shoulders, and I walk right through the shit waist high every day. And I'm used to it. I'm used to it. My kids aren't. And so yesterday, and I'll go into it after our little music break some more. My son saw me break down pretty good, and it hurt him. It showed. It showed in him. It showed in him. He was hurt, and it took a lot to get him to arrive at a point where he was comfortable enough. Even when I would turn around, he'd jump, and we'll get into regardless. He made a song with me that we shared last night, and I think I'll end up sharing that one again. But we made another one today, and what's fun is I can just set up the loopers and then just go, here, you're allowed to press 2 buttons at a time. That's it. 2 buttons, and then I just let him go crazy, and he goes crazy, and then we make songs. And when they get done, if they have parts that don't sound good, I just go, hiya, we're done with that part. We're going to move on to the next part. And then I just sandwich them together. Bada bing, bada boom. We've got a song. So let's see here. Okay, good. Let's see here. Bada bong gong bong bong bong. Bada Django. It's in. Oh, I guess I could have put that in the StreamYard chat. Oh no, I guess.
Yeah, add it to the private chat, and I can play it.
There. Now everybody else can have it too. Then. All right. I'm back. It's me again. Can you believe it? So that that was a little rendition created by myself and my 6-year-old. I have a lot of fun making music with him, and he's really taken to it. He really enjoys it. One nice thing with the band lab is what I used to have to do and pay money to do was pay for mixing boards. Sample pads, looper pads. Laura, look what was underneath the looper pad. Hell yeah. All right. Well, that was a very successful lip to something. And those were a lot of fun in the 90s. That's like Windows XP era stuff right there. I can do that on BandLab now. It has made things stupendously easier because I can sit here with my keyboard and go, oh, hey, I'm feeling like not playing a whole song. So I go, oh, let's try this. I record that. I stick it into the sampler, drag and drop. Now all he has to do is press the button on the screen and it goes perfectly in tune, right in rhythm, right in motion. Fantastic. Makes my life way easier because I used to try and do this and it wasn't very good. Now I make stuff and I'm like, even I want to listen to it. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. If my 6-year-old can have this much fun doing it, awesome. Awesome. I mean, what else could I expect? What else could I hope for? I mean, realistically, like I said, I say here, 2 at a time. Each one of these makes its own sound. If you press too many of them at a time, they start to sound like shit. So I tell them press 2 and never stop pressing them. Always be pressing 2 of them. They sound like insanity as they get made. But by the time they're done, they just sound like every other techno song. And what I've learned about techno is every song People don't want to hear new stuff. They want to hear the same. They want to hear that Hathaway song. What is love, baby? Don't hurt me. Everybody wants to hear that song over and over again. No joke. That tune can play over and over. You could go to the club every Saturday, hear that song, everybody will dance. It's the same thing. So when you're making the techno music, you just take the sounds that people like already, and you just go, and you just mash them into a big old pile of crap and hope that sounds good at the end. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they go, well, was a waste of time. And I throw the whole thing away. Or I'll take like, oh, well, this part didn't suck, but these did. And doing it with my kids is even more fun. It was something I didn't have as a kid. I grew up poor. We were in, it was a tannery house. So the ceilings were 5'11", 6 foot. I had a brother who was 5'11". It was fun watching him take his shirt off every day because he would rip the skin off the backs of his hands on the textured ceilings. That was always a blast to watch. We didn't have anything. We didn't have shit. We had a body shop. Our garage was a body shop. That was pretty cool. We had a yard, but we lived in the middle of nowhere, so everybody had a yard. Yeah, tannery house, like straight up, like they were built just for the people that worked at the tannery in town. So there was like, they were built in like 3.5 weeks, I guess. Each house was built in 3.5 weeks, and they were not great. They weren't great houses by any means. And I didn't have anything. We didn't have instruments. My family would put me in like 3 years. I went to drum classes, and for like summer music camp. Nobody ever bought me a drum set. My sister had a keyboard. She didn't know how to play a keyboard. I did. Not sure what the hell happened, but we didn't really have anything. And I'm trying to make sure my kids don't have that same experience. I want them to have, I borrowed a bass guitar from my buddy, my father, who passed away. This was his acoustic that we used to play with. I bought an electric guitar over there. I bought the digital drum set, got the keyboard, I got the machine, the Native Instruments machine. I'm just building my little studio over here just to have fun. And the kids, they love it. They really do. My oldest son, he's really getting into the drums. He can hold a rhythm. He's never drummed anything in his life. I handed him the drumsticks, showed him a couple rhythms. He jumped on the drum set and did them without any issue. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just showed him which ones to hit, and you just go back into it. Hit this symbol here, blah, blah, blah. He did it. He just figured it out. And I was like, here, do your kick and then your high. Kick, high, kick, high, kick, high, kick, high. 1, 2, 1, 2. He figured it out and then started throwing his hands in rhythm. It was insane. I was so impressed that we've been making music almost every day since. And my little guy, unfortunately, yesterday it was to get him back to earth. Back to earth. For the last weeks, probably 2 weeks, I haven't been able to stop having seizures. I've been having them almost every day, whether it be a grand mal or even just some real real heavy, complex partials and stuff, I mean, I'd start drooling on myself, and I've like bit my tongue like 10 times, and it's become a mess. It's become a real freaking mess. And so on Saturday, I woke up to a seizure. Last Saturday, that was last Saturday. No, yeah, it was just this last Saturday when I didn't even perform a live song on Steve's show. I just did a couple of my playouts. I did that this week too, kind of just because I was kind of in rough shape again this week. But last week I had a seizure, and I had to play it off like I was normal when I did the show. Just that's how I do my life. I just suck it up. I just suck it up, and I just do it. Oh, is that what has to happen? Done. Let's make it happen. I don't mind. I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me at all. It does bother me when my wife reaches out to the doctor and says, my husband's having seizures. It's getting worse. The medicine you gave us to try, he had every one of the bad side effects, very first pill. We need help. This isn't working. It's like, well, the thing that would have worked best would have been the ambulatory test in the hospital, and we saw how well that went. So he gave her SAS. In a message back to her telling him that she was sitting there with the EMTs dealing with me having a seizure. I wasn't impressed, to say the least. What I read, it took a lot to get into that doctor's care. And then in September, when we were calling them and telling them, like, guys, we don't have time to see any more of these PAs and stuff. We need to see the doctor. Just to come and see us. If he's going to be in the country, because like I said, he's number 3 in the world. He's all over the world regularly. He does not have a border. This guy is everywhere. They got me into an appointment that they knew that the lady wasn't going to be able to make it because of what was happening with her that day. So they stuck me in her spot. We went up. They gave me the Xcopri. I took the Xcopri for a day. Had a seizure the next day. That was last Saturday. Let me see. I can't remember if it's this one or the other one. Let's see here. Yola! Oh, never mind. Okay, so I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to react. Allow me to read you what was discussed. Hello, this is Laura, Drew's wife. He had a grand mal seizure this morning while on Xcopri. I ended up dialing 911 because I didn't know if it could be adverse reaction from the medicine. I had given his diazepam rectally 2 days prior because he had grand mal 2 days ago as well. My emergency meds go up my butt, and she has to put them in there while I'm flopping around like a fish. She has to shove a thing up my ass, squeeze my butt cheeks together, and then push on a plunger until the goo goes in so that it doesn't squirt back out, so that I'll stop having a seizure. They just finally switched it to a nasally done one that I could have had all along. So she's been shoving this thing up my ass for years. Anytime I don't stop having seizures. Wow, am I lucky. I'm a lucky guy, because I don't even know. I don't know why she stuck around in the beginning when I was still an asshole. I don't know why she stuck around in the middle when I was still an asshole. But she stays around, and she loves me. And I love her. We had a conversation last night. I mean, once again, it was like we renewed the vows or something. It was beautiful. I honestly, it was just right there in our own room, just declaring our love for each other and just reassuring each other. Love you, baby. I think his condition is worsening rapidly, and I believe medication does not work. He seems allergic to every medication we have tried. What is the next step? Does he need to be admitted to Duke again? I don't know what to do. None of the medications are helping, even though Klonopin doesn't seem to work now. Which Klonopin is, if I have an aura, which is basically Valium, when I have an aura or after I've had a grand mal and I wake up, I take one and it shuts everything down. Just done. Drew's done. And so I'm done for the day. Like if it happens in the morning, I have to take one in the morning. I suck all day. Go to sleep. Day's wasted. I don't get to hang with my kids. I don't get to work out. I don't get to skate. It's interesting. But I digress. I don't know what else to do. But we're all suffering right now. And he needs help desperately. This was his response. Trying medications is the best way forward. I'm sorry that Xcopri did not work. I'm surprised at the reaction having after the first pill. Regardless, if that is not something that you can take, we can look for another medication. Admission to the hospital is helpful, but given the experience last time, that is not practical. If you would be willing, I can prescribe a different medication. I responded. That was medicine number 9. I think you're wrong. Meds are not the best option. I'm obviously allergic to all of it. Fourth one with extreme reactions. Topamax. Topamax almost shut down my kidneys and gave me blood acidosis. I had ammoniated blood coming out of every orifice of my body. Depakote. Just took that a couple months ago. Almost shut down my kidneys. Xcopri. I took it for one day. It looked like I was peeing lemon juice out of the bottle. I passed out almost immediately. I got a rash. And I got a headache so bad. And I was like, Lord, this is not good. I don't feel good, baby. I don't feel good. She's like, just relax. I thought I was good because I didn't have a seizure that day. That was Friday when I took that pill. Saturday was the day that I shut down. That was a bad day. But then but by Saturday evening, I had woke myself up. got myself on track, got myself ready, and I did the show. I just, like I always do, I just suck it up and do shit. Some people can't do that. Some people can't do that. I also took Kepper at one point in time. Kepper turned me into the biggest asshole.
That's one of the major side effects.
It's a known side effect. Suicidal tendencies, depression, anger. I already have explosive personality disorder. I'm bipolar. I have Tourette's and I have epilepsy and ADHD. So
Like allergic to everything.
I'm already allergic to everything. It's already been a nightmare. I took Ritalin as a kid, almost shut down my livers. You know, that was almost the end of my liver. So all were a nightmare. The rest either didn't work or made me so disoriented that I couldn't perform life. For some reason, every neurologist thinks, oh, this didn't work, so let's try more. I'm in a lot of support groups. I hear the story over and over. Depression, suicidal thoughts, severe reactions. These meds are trash. I'm not living my life distraught and disoriented. I was referred to Duke for potential VNS or RNS. So far, it's just been a repeat of all the stuff that hasn't worked and the tasks necessary to know whether stimulators will work were a bust. 2 ambulatory tests without results, yet instead we go back to what doesn't work. I'm about to say I just live with the occasional seizure. Stop stressing myself out. Moving all over the country to be with doctors that are not actually motivated to help me. We drive 3 hours to see y'all alone. I could have Wilmington Health give me meds that don't work and keep shoving me down the line. So anything to add besides the next step is a waste of more of everyone's time? Like I said, I don't tend to be coy. His next message says, well, it sounds like the care isn't going to work out. You're welcome to look for care back in Wilmington. So he dropped me. Number 3 in the world. When getting called out for doing a shit job as a doctor, his ego was far, far too struck to continue doing work for a guy who called him on his fucking bullshit. So, this was my response. And welcome to what? You're welcome to fuck yourself. Just for reference, we misjudged you. You're another pretentious ass who, as soon as things don't work out like you hoped, bon voyage. Here's the next dumbass without an answer. We're all humans. All have our issues. You are supposed to help me with mine. But immediately push down the line. One try and go doctoring. So trust, I'm gladly done with Duke. If you're the paragon, wow, what a relief. Because I can stop looking. I'll just get my emergency meds, eat my paleo diet, and stop wasting my time with think they know it all doctors. Thanks.
Fucker.
I hope I don't ever cross paths with him. I was a very violent man in my past. I have a lot of charges to show for it. It's unfortunate. They're not. Shut up. I'm not worried. I was blown away. This was number 3 in the world? That was yesterday. I'm hurting. I'm hurting. Now today, I've spent the last hour and a half, 45 minutes jibber jabbering on about me. There's a lot more. I'll talk for days. And that's why this isn't going to end here. I'd like to do this every week. I really, really would like for some of the people that I keep meeting in the groups to find their way here. I'm not here to give therapy. I'm not here to guide anybody. I'm just a guy you can talk to that has no problem being honest with you, that has no problem listening, truly listening, not hearing you, not letting the words hit my ears. I want to hear you and listen and provide anything, whether it is just my ear, whether it's a few words that I can come up with that might bring some hope, some optimism, some faith, whatever it is that you have faith in. It's a tough world. Yeah, it's a tough world. Everybody has problems. People at the top, people at the bottom. I've been to the bottom. I reach up every day. I'll make it. Someday I'll be at the top. And if I don't, I'll live my life knowing that I worked hard enough trying to reach that point in my life. Through the bullshit, through the epilepsy, through everything this world throws at us. Because, man, there's a lot. We all put up with so much. And sometimes we just want to talk about it. I mean, realistically, I'm doing this as a way for epileptics to come and talk about things, only because I'm not afraid. If you're on the screen with me, right here would be another screen that shows you. And if we're both on this screen, this main screen, and something happens, we're going to see it before everybody sees it on this screen. I'm going to blink you down. If I need to cut away, I will. I'm going to try and keep the show steering in the right direction. If something like that does happen. I don't care if you call about anything. If you want to come on and just talk, I don't care. You don't have to be epileptic. I want to be here for epileptics. I just want to be here for people. I love the humankind. I hate people. As odd as that seems, I want to see the best for mankind. Anything I can possibly do in my life to help others. Altruism is the only way that this world gets through whatever this pile of crap is that we've built. We all have to, without regard, care about the person around us, the person next to us. Not facetiously. Not, hey, yo, one love. No. We need to love each other. We need to be here for each other. Because these aren't very long. And everybody deserves a quality one. Everybody. If you have some friends, if you have some family, if you have somebody that's, would like to just talk. I mean, the guidelines are there. I need to be able to, if something happens, I need to be able to call an ambulance, or there needs to be somebody there to make sure somebody can call an ambulance, or make sure somebody gets their meds, or anything like that. It can't just be up in the air on your end. Because if I click this thing down and you disappear, and I just have to sit here and look at a video of you dying, I've seen people die. I can handle people die. Do I want to? No. Another thing. These groups are full of very depressed people. We're very, very depressed people. Our neurons aren't firing properly. Our lives aren't going properly. We can't drive. We can't work. We can't do the things we're supposed to normally do. It's very, very depressing. And it's hard to come out of that hole. Even if you're not a depressed person, you find yourself there. And what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to dig when there's no fucking tools to dig your way? What are you supposed to do? I want to be a tool for those around me. Even those in the support groups, they come in and they say they're about to commit suicide. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of us talk them off that ledge. The other night, I get in a group. This guy says, I've tried every medicine. I've been to so many doctors. I'm so depressed. I can't drive. I can't work. I can't think. He says, I don't think there's really anything left to live for. We have control of one thing in our life. And that's our life. If at some point somebody decides they want to end it, there's nothing you can do. That's their life to take. The problem is those people don't take into consideration what it does to the people that still have to live a life. The people that have to sit back and now deal with your heartache, your pain. I'd much rather deal with it with you than standing over you. Right after that guy said that, one of the first comments was from a mother. She said, I buried my daughter yesterday. She thought this was the only way. She was 12. We need to be here for each other. During COVID, I lost so many friends. They didn't know what to do. Not one of them fucking called me. I would have sat on the phone all night. I would have done anything. But now I just have to look at those friends' pictures, remember the memories, and say, oh, if only. If only is not a way to live. Parents shouldn't have to put their kids in the ground. Is the world gonna hit you a few curveballs? Yeah. Are some people gonna get hit a little harder? You betcha. But nobody deserves to be alone. In everyday life, people get judged on their gender, their age, their color. People get judged on all kinds of things. And we've got to a point now where it's almost accepted to allow people to think certain ways. Well, it's time to end. If we want progress in this world, it takes everybody. And what do you know? You're not alone. There's guys like me. I'm already in turmoil. What do I have to lose? Come. Tell me something. Get something off your chest. Let it roll. You don't have to show your face. I mean, when you come, if you take the link and you come over and you say, hey, I'm going to I'm going to come on the show, but I don't want to show my face. See Lucky right here? You can put whatever you want up there. It'll just be you. Just we have to know that no matter what, that you're safe. We have to know you're safe. So even if it's for 10, a tenth of a second where you guys flip your camera on and pull the thing away and show me 2 left hands, then I know you're safe. If you can't do that, but you want to talk, get a hold of me. Reach out to me. Get on the week before. Let me know. And we'll do a video chat. We'll chat. We'll talk. I'm not going to guarantee that everybody's going to get the go-ahead. But I know some people live by themselves and take medicine or have had surgeries and are living their greatest lives and would probably like to tell people about it and don't need somebody standing there. But then I also had a cousin that from the time I knew him when I was a baby, and it's not like he's changed, he has anywhere from 50 to 250 seizures a day. It's a pretty diverse network of us. But I want to hear about it. Hear if I can help. Something I can do. A cause. An event. A run. A marathon. Whatever. Something to bring light to the epilepsy community. Something to something to brighten people's days. I mean, you got a good story. God, we love good stories. You got a story. Hey, we got the VNS. We got the RNS. And now we are living our best life. It'd be nice for some people out there to hear those stories. It would be nice. Don't be afraid. I'm just a guy. I'm nobody special. I'm not famous. Not even marginally. Just a guy. Hanging out with a fearless group of people who have nothing but love for their fellow humans. I'm a rapping flower child. What do you want me to say? So, I'm going to pull up a song. We'll play it out on this. Let's see here.
I wanted to let you know also, Drew, we can always pre-record podcasts and then publish them out that way after if somebody is a higher risk for having an issue on a stream.
Thank you. You know what? I even made that one of my notes and I put it on that note over there and I'm looking at these ones over here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was a very, very huge point. This doesn't always have to be live.
Yep.
We can pre-record. We can put you on ahead of time. I've got all kinds of time. What, you think I'm limited to Sunday from 6:30 to 8:30? If you need Drew, reach out. I'll be here. Okay? Don't hold yourself back. Don't wait till you're boiled up to a point where you absolutely can't handle life anymore. Because people get there. They wait too long. Typing in forums is not a solution. Finding a network is. But if none of those people can help you in your time of need, what good are they? You need help. We're here to help. We, as in the community I've already imagined in my head. Hope to see you all there. This is Drizzle's Tank. And what do you know? You're not alone. Have a good night.